Chapter 6. The boys at table 6 were not hard to find. Their voices made them quite visible. They were having a heated debate with Octavia about last call, and the raucous laughter could be heard in the next block. I slowly walked toward the table so I could listen in on their source of laughter. It appeared they were discussing the seriously deceased body in the alley. Apparently, the news had already gone viral, because one of them was showing the others the video on their phone. One was expounding on the fashion choice and the lack of a certain body part. Another was laughing about the way the deceased was laid out, with an emphasis on laid out. The third party in this little band of juveniles was just about to get wound up about the deceased's supposed sexual preferences when I pulled a chair out from the table and sat down, slinging my boa into the face of the chubby gentleman beside me, who blew feathers away like a kid blowing bubbles. "I understand you lovely, and I use that term very loosely, gentlemen were interested in meeting me," I said, looking each one in the eye. The laughter stopped, like a faucet had been shut off. The leader of this little band of miscreants cleared his throat and said, Yes, I asked, watching him squirm. "Well, we, never saw a show like this before, and we, wanted to get your autograph to show the friends back home that we really had visited a clean nightclub." I sat back in my chair, putting my arm over the back of the chair, and slowly crossed my legs, allowing the slit from my skirt to show my stockings. Taking a deep breath and letting it out very slowly, I said, "Young man, let me tell you something. This is not just a gay club. This is the Pink Canary, the most fashionable and prestigious drag queen club in Key West. Our acts are of the highest caliber anywhere. I would put myself and my girls up against even the likes of Cher or Olivia Newton-John. So before you even think about an autograph, you need to change your attitude." I took my finger and swirled it around his person. "And what, for crying out loud, is this fashion nightmare? Please, when you come into my club, you come dressed properly. And by the way, pull your pants up and cover up those hideous shorts. This isn't some cheap dive where you can just walk in looking like something right off the boat." The guy looked down at his attire. He was dressed in shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top. This would have been okay if it had at least matched. He looked like a refugee, and his shorts were hanging down to his knees and looked like he had slept in them for a week. He stood up and pulled up his pants, then tightened his belt to keep them up. Sitting back down, he had the decency to blush. The rest of his crew wanted to laugh, but one look from me halted it. They picked up their drinks instead and finished them. Just then, the lights went on in the club. The regulars had already poured themselves out the door, and the tourists were standing around getting autographs from some of the other girls. This was my sign to leave this group of misfits and their lack of manners. As I got up, I said, "By the way, where are you boys from?" The spokesman for the group grinned a lopsided grin and said, "We are from Jackson County. It is north of Atlanta." I looked at them one more time, then looked over at Penelope, who had already seen me and was headed over to the table with 6 8x10 glossies and a pen. "Well, boys, here are your autographs. I want you to go back to your little county and tell your homeboys that you were in a classy nightclub filled with some of the best talent in the country who just happened to be drag queens. I promise you, when you tell them that, you will be run out of that backwoods county." I finished signing the glossies, handed the pen back to Penelope, blew the boys a kiss, threw my boa around my neck one more time, and turned on my heel to walk away from the table. I stopped and turned around. "By the way, the body behind my club that the 6 of you were having such a good time talking about. Remember this, it could have been any of you." I pointed to each of them, and then I turned again on my heel, walked away, and never looked back. The silence was deafening.